Testing audio, check 1, 2, 3, 4. This is an audio test. Check 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good evening. I am Eileen Sullivan Marks, President of the American Academy of Nursing. With me this evening is Ken White, the Academy's President-elect. On behalf of the Board of Directors, it is our pleasure to welcome you to the American Academy of Nursing's 2020 Living Legends Ceremony.
While we are celebrating in a virtual setting, the distance does not detract from the sense of community and pride we all feel as we honor these 5 inspirational nursing giants. 2020 marks the International Year of the Nurse and the Midwife, focused on demonstrating and elevating the courage, commitment, and ingenuity of our profession.
This year's Living Legends have personified each of these traits throughout their careers and serve as a reminder of why nursing science, innovation, and leadership matters. From transforming policy to investing in the next generation of nurses, you will hear how doctors Linda Aiken, Bobbie Berkowitz, Kitty Cohen Buckwalter, Beverly Malone, and Marilyn Rantz have embodied what it means to lead authentically and make a lasting impact. This ceremony allows us to celebrate their accomplishments while harnessing our excitement as we look to see how the next nursing leaders will follow in their footsteps.
The title of Living Legend of the American Academy of Nursing is not simply a designation for a remarkable individual, but a lasting recognition that solidifies these incredible leaders in the history and vision of our nursing profession. A vision to advance health equity, champion wellness, innovate for positive change, and lead with compassion.
We would also like to give a special welcome to the hundreds of family members, friends, and colleagues of our Living Legends that are joining our live stream tonight. We have enabled the live comments feature, so please get involved in the celebration by submitting shout-outs and messages of congratulations throughout the broadcast. Before we begin, I would like to start by recognizing our sponsors. Tonight's Living Legends ceremony was made possible by generous contributions from Cedars-Sinai Medical Center and Columbia University School of Nursing, with the additional support from the University of Pennsylvania School of Nursing and the University of Iowa School of Nursing. Thank you to our sponsors for helping to make this evening a memorable event for us all. The American Academy of Nursing created the Living Legends in 1994 in order to honor and recognize the fellows who have made unique, outstanding, and long-lasting contributions to both the nursing profession and to society.
Since then, we have honored 121 distinguished individuals. Let's take a moment to recognize these living legends over the years.
Traditionally, this would be the moment during our in-person celebration where we would ask all of our living legends to stand and be recognized. So tonight, I would like to take a reflective moment to honor their contributions and to their commitment to the profession. Wherever you are, we collectively commend your legacy and thank you for joining us tonight. I would also like to pause and recognize the living legends we lost this year, Robert Piemonte and Juanita Fleming.
They remain close in our hearts, along with the other Academy living legends who have died. We honor their many contributions and know we stand and build on the shoulders of these giants who have been integral and inspirational in growing our nursing profession.
Tonight, we gather together to recognize 5 trailblazers whose vision, leadership, and contributions have left an indelible mark on healthcare. It is my pleasure to introduce tonight's first 2020 Living Legend, Linda Aiken. Linda Aiken's name is synonymous with excellence in quality outcomes and innovations in research methods that have taught us more about our profession and the unique contributions that we make. She is widely known around the globe for her groundbreaking research demonstrating the value of baccalaureate education in nursing on improved patient outcomes. Insights from her numerous studies contributed to the scientific evidence base for the Magnet Recognition Program, which had its origins during her presidency of the American Academy of Nursing. Dr. Aiken successfully developed the science of core nursing outcomes and policy research, providing the necessary leadership to improve nurse practice environments. Through her work, nurse-led networks in over 30 countries have created much-needed data sets that have served as a conduit to inform practice, policy, and education. Starting her career as a University of Florida Gator nurse, Dr. Aiken was one of the first clinical nurse specialists in cardiothoracic surgery. As she honed her knowledge of the healthcare system, Dr. Aiken was drawn to the work of a small foundation that was interested in quality of care, its measurable outcomes, the equity of access to it, and how to avoid getting sick in the first place. This small foundation, which we now know as the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, is one of the largest philanthropic organizations. Dr. Aiken served as a founding professional staff member for 13 years, rising to vice president. Currently, Dr. Aiken is the Claire M. Fagan Leadership Professor of Nursing, Professor of Sociology, and Director of the Center for Health Outcomes and Policy Research, or SHOPER, at the University of Pennsylvania. She joined the Penn faculty in 1988 and founded the SHOPRA as one of the first centers to scale up rigorous research on the impact of nursing on patient outcomes and to train the next generation of nurse health services researchers. Dr. Aiken is known for pushing the envelope and challenging the status quo to obtain greater clarity on the problems inhibiting optimal health outcomes. She is indeed a trailblazer and innovator. Receiving many accolades, Dr. Aiken is widely celebrated by her colleagues in the nursing, medical, healthcare, and policy communities. She is the winner of the National Academy of Medicine's prestigious Linehart Award for contributions to improving personal health care, the Distinguished Investigator and Article of the Year Awards from the Academy Health, the William B. Graham Prize for Health Services Research from the Association of University Programs and Health Administration, and the individual Codman Award from the Joint Commission. We honored Dr. Aiken's portfolio of distinction. She has advanced policy at the local, state, federal, and global levels. She has transformed research methods and spurred a generation of nurse scientists to ask the questions that matter. Dr. Aiken leads through inquiry and continues to make an immeasurable impact. Let's hear more of her successes from Linda's three sponsors.
If Linda Aiken had not come along and decided to say, yeah, that's all very well and good, Magnet Hospital stuff, it's all very well and good, but does it make a difference to patient outcomes? And she, such a good critical thinker, that she developed a study where she looked at those a selection of those Magnet hospitals that we had written up and compared them to a series of non-Magnet hospitals that she could match on a number of the same variables, the same size, the same kinds of communities served. And what she found, amazingly, even amazing to us, was that Magnet hospitals had significantly lower mortality rates than non-Magnets. Now, you want to get people's attention. That's a really good way to do it. The issue is, and this is why Linda Aiken is a living legend. Had she not done that work, that would have been a nice little study that we spent a lot of time and hard work, and if we thought we had valuable data, it would have been all put away in a library shelf somewhere, and no one would have heard about it ever again. The reason I think Linda Aiken deserves to be a living legend is because I would suggest to you that she has done more to improve the quality of patient care and the quality of nurses' work lives, not only in this country, but now around the world, because we have magnets in many foreign countries, and some being added every year, which is just amazing. It is an amazing program, and I will say to you, in my opinion, Linda Aiken has made a bigger impact than even Florence Nightingale did in her day. And we are grateful to her, very, very grateful to her.
I was really fortunate to meet Linda Aiken for the first time when I was a doctoral student. I had gone to the University of Pennsylvania School of Nursing to meet with Joan Leinoff. And of course, I was in awe even at the time of Linda back then, knowing all of the work that she had begun to really look at staff nurses, their role in so many different ways, the work environment, the impact that they were having. And so it was just amazing. I thought, wow, I have two of the greatest experts in nursing who have volunteered their time to talk with me and help me get started in my career. So I was very, very grateful. And that was really the beginning of my time knowing Linda. And I'm fortunate for many, many years hence. I've had the opportunity to work with her in a number of things and just have always admired so much of her work and willingness to do for the nursing profession and many of us individually.
Linda and I had the opportunity to meet very early in the nurse scientists, nurse researcher conferences. We were both part of the same generation of nurse scientists. And that means that, in fact, there were not very many doctoral programs for nurses at that time. And she and I both went through the nurse scientist program and did a doctorate in another science, both of us in sociology. One of the major themes of study that she has pursued during her career is that of the influence of baccalaureate nursing education on the patient outcomes and nursing outcomes in an organizational context. This is a very important area of research because for many years, nurses were not well educated. And her work in this area literally brought the American nursing system into the highly educated area of baccalaureates nurses. So once her studies began to show that if you have a higher percentage or proportion of baccalaureate prepared nurses on your staff in hospitals, you literally get lower mortality for patients and you get greater ability to rescue patients when they're in trouble with complications. So this was a very important finding. It immediately changed the area for nursing in terms of our striving then for baccalaureate education for most nurses. And in Europe, where there was even less education, the replication of this study resulted in the European Parliament literally requiring that all countries in Europe allowed opportunity and opening for nurses to be able to gain a baccalaureate degree. So for countries that had never had nurses in their universities, this then opened the doors for a number of young people who wanted to do nursing background.
Linda's work is world-renowned. She has set the course for really understanding what it is that nurses contribute to keep patients safe, to affect whether they live or die, and to really amplify how important the power of nursing is, so that not only are organizations that employ nurses know that they need the resources that are essential to caring for patients, but also to influence policymakers so that those supports are actually codified. Linda's work across the board has helped influence every step of the way in terms of looking at how we employ nurses, what that workforce is like, what the work environment is like, and through that has been able to have an impact in every corner of the world. As her work transcended not just the United States, but then has been expanded in many, many continents, it has been remarkable to look at how similar some of the issues are and how her solutions are really helping improve care around the world. So her name will be synonymous with improving work environments, improving staffing, improving patient outcomes through the rigor of research.
is a visionary, an exquisite leader, and a premier scientist for the profession of nursing and for the interdisciplinary field of health services research. She has changed the path of our profession with the themes of her research and with her attention to work environments, to organizational structures, to their impact on patient outcomes particularly, as well as nursing outcomes. We can be very proud of her as a colleague in our nursing endeavors, and we are delighted that she has now been designated as a living legend for the American Academy of Nursing.
Thank you very much, colleagues, for selecting me as an American Academy of Nursing Living Legend. It's a thrill. It's a thrill to my family and friends, my colleagues at work. Thank you to my sponsors. I had an exciting month this month. I was part of the launch of Magnet for Europe, which is what it seems to be. We are going to attempt to replicate Magnet hospitals in Europe and scale them up to 60 or so Magnet hospitals and study them in a randomized controlled trial to see if we get the same results in Europe that we know we've gotten in the US. And that experience just kind of took me back and made me rethink our last 40 years as an organization, where the Academy of Nursing actually put in motion a series of activities that brought us to this point of testing an idea that's worked so well in the US that we're trying it internationally. And just a few touchstones on that history. Our colleagues, nurse executives mostly, made a stunning observation in the midst of a nursing shortage. And that was that all hospitals weren't experiencing a shortage. In fact, some hospitals had a waiting list of nurses. And the Academy took action on the basis of that observation. And action is the operative word. I did a national study and identified 41 hospitals that were immune from nursing shortages. And on the basis of that identification, many nursing research groups studied those 41 hospitals. And they found out that they had common organizational characteristics that weren't present in other hospitals, and that those characteristics were associated with better nurse and patient outcomes. Then the American Nurses Credentialing Center did an amazing thing when you look back on it, saying, well, how can we replicate the 41 hospitals? We think we could do it through a certification program with a blueprint that guides other hospitals to develop these organizational factors. And so the ANCC, in effect, increased the 41 hospitals to 500 hospitals, a critical mass of hospitals, which has vastly raised the bar for what is expected in nurse work environments and has returned an advantage to the public and better outcomes. So we can see in the arc of history that the Academy has been very effective, really in a combination of strategic thinking, research, collaboration across different nursing organizations, and policy savviness. And that is what's made the Magnet program so influential. It's not the only influential program of the Academy, but I have been so excited to be a member of the Academy for 40 years and see the immense impact it's having. Thank you, colleagues, very much for this award.
The next 2020 Living Legend to be honored tonight is Bobbie Berkowitz. In these difficult times, as the world grapples with the coronavirus pandemic, Dr. Berkowitz's life work reminds us of all the importance of public health and the role nurses play in changing policy to impact wellness and safety. Her significant contributions have transformed public health infrastructure, population health, health policy, and progressed health equity. Dr. Berkowitz began her career as a public health nurse in rural Washington state. In 1990, she was appointed to the Washington State Healthcare Commission by the governor. The commission was created to address the need for a comprehensive approach to a health system that was stressed with increasing costs and a growing uninsured population. Dr. Berkowitz chaired the commission committee that developed the Public Health Improvement Plan, which included a uniform benefits package through a single sponsor coverage approach. When the commission completed its work and presented the report to the governor, it became the basis of the legislation known as the Health Services Act of 1993. Understanding the great importance of this legislation and determined to shepherd its effective implementation, Dr. Berkowitz joined the Washington State Department of Health in 1993 as a deputy secretary to carry out the reforms. Dr. Berkowitz's experience and expertise led to a more expansive effort to modernize states' public health statutes, improve quality, enhance the utilization of information technology, create performance management systems, and nurture public health leadership. Dr. Berkowitz's experience and expertise led to a more expansive effort to modernize states' public health statutes, improve quality, enhance the utilization of information technology, create performance management systems, and nurture public health leadership. Thus, it seems to be a given that when she joined the faculty at the University of Washington, she became the principal, investigator, and program director of the program Turning Point, Collaborating for a New Century in Public Health, which was a 10-year-long national program funded by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and the W.K. Kellogg Foundation. The Turning Point initiative supported public health systems change in 22 states and 41 local communities and created 5 national excellence collaboratives, which allowed states to work together on important public health infrastructure challenges. Later, Dr. Berkowitz became the dean of the Columbia University School of Nursing and senior vice president of the Columbia University Irving Medical Center. It was during this time that she served as president of the American Academy of Nursing. I had the wonderful opportunity to serve on the board of directors with her and know the vision she commanded for the organization. Her priority was amplifying the voice of the profession in key policy discussions. She currently serves on the Academy's Institute for Nursing Leadership, National Advisory Council, and is the chair of the INL Program Committee, which organized in partnership with the Academy's Diversity and Inclusivity Committee this year's INL Critical Conversation on Health Equity and Racism. She has been an active member of the National Academy of Medicine, serving on 6 NAM report committees, and is a current member of the NAM Report Review Committee. Dr. Berkowitz is highly regarded within the healthcare community for her vision, clarity, and authentic style. Bobbie's sponsors have more to say about her many successes.
Bobbie is a not self-effacing, but a very laid-back leader. There is not an element of narcissism that I have ever seen in her. And I think she's so able to influence other people and be a role model for a really terrific leader. She has just nailed doing these things interprofessionally, interdisciplinarily. She doesn't make being a nurse in your face, but you know that she is. And she's able to articulate what it is about nursing, and in particular, public health nursing and population health nursing, that helps others understand it without making them feel put down by it all.
Bobbie is an extraordinary role model for nursing. She's the ultimate professional nurse. She cares deeply about certain topics such as diversity, health equity, and also the importance of nurses being involved in global policy across the globe. She's a great visionary leader. She's a deep thinker on the issues of how to contribute to population health. She's also a doer, and she works hard herself as well as holds other people accountable. I'd say she plays well in the sandbox, really.
Working across sectors, being on boards, influencing policy, addressing upstream systemic injustices. This is what Bobbie's done her whole career. It's people like her that have shown us the way to do these things. It makes us obliged to carry it on, to take this work to the next level of what we need to do to dismantle unjust systems. And we need to be the nurses to undertake this today, thanks to her living legacy that continues to go on today. And it's never been more important than it is right now.
Bobbie is just she's a wonderful influencer because she's able to make so clear what it is that we do as practitioners who work for the health of populations, what the science is that needs to be translated into the practice, and then turn that into policy.
She also worked very hard to translate evidence into nursing science into clinical practice through her leadership and along with another living legend, Elaine Larson. They developed a program where the nurse scientists were half in the School of Nursing and half in the hospital. So they were really using the hospitals as their laboratories, improving nursing science and translating nursing science into clinical practice. So it's been just remarkable how she has impacted nursing.
She's fun. She has such a terrific sense of humor. And so she's able to bring the rest of us along, even in difficult circumstances, by bringing the camaraderie and the collaboration and not the competition that we so often see.
As a mentor, she really instills in a person an attitude, I think, around aiming high. So for me, this has been not just in my professional career and things she sort of encourages me to do or take on, but also in the work we do and the work we do as nurses. It's not enough to make meaningful change if it's not making a big impact or addressing some underlying or unjust system issue. That's again where her policy focus is. The other thing I think about in terms of her and her mentorship is pay it forward. When students or others ask me for help or direction or mentorship, I don't shy away, because Bobbie never did. All she ever seemed to want in return was that I should pay it forward to the next generation and the next generation of nurses. So to this day, I channel her on these things, on both pay it forward and aim higher, make a big impact.
And I think what inspired me most is Bobbie's ability to care deeply and, as Betty has said, aim higher, but she does it in such a gentle way. As I've said so many times, she has just a wonderful, quiet way of getting us all to do what we should be doing anyway and feeling really good about it. That's why she should feel it.
Why do I think Bobbie deserves the honor of being a living legend? It's simply her career, everything about her. She's made such an impact, public health, diversity, public policy. It's everything about her whole career. She truly deserves to be a living legend.
It is an honor to express my pleasure and gratitude on receiving this designation. And I want to begin with a thank you to my longtime friends and colleagues who were the brains behind this honor. Drs. Betty Beckemeyer, Pam Mitchell, Pat Stone, Nancy Woods, and Peg Heikemper have all helped to shape my thoughts about nursing practice, science, and academia in ways that I could never have done alone. I'm certain that behind every living legend is a collective of individuals who have helped shape their character and passion for those of us who have been honored by this designation. It is a blessing to have such friends. I also want to acknowledge how influential and important the Academy has been to my life in nursing leadership. Serving as president of this organization was such an honor. I congratulate our new inductees and wish for you that same experience. I have thought a great deal about what this honor reflects about me, something that I imagine each of us has pondered. I think the legend part of the designation is perhaps what others see in us, what we have accomplished, how we have shaped nursing and influenced those who work with us, how we've experienced the past and see the future through the lens of nursing practice and science. I do not think we dwell on what makes us good at our profession. I think instead we focus on the living part of the legend. So for the very few minutes I have with you, I would like to give you a sense of the living part of my life. So I grew up in a small town on an island in Washington State. When I was in second grade, I was diagnosed with rheumatic fever and spent quite a long time in a hospital. The nurses in that hospital, they became the center of my universe, and I knew that I would become a nurse. Now, no one in my family thought that was a particularly good idea. I was skinny, I had heart murmur, I was considered too delicate and too reserved for nursing. But there was no changing my mind. I confronted my shyness by taking acting classes and performed in all of the junior and high school plays. I volunteered as a candy striper during high school. By the time I was ready for college, it was nursing school at the University of Washington for me. After graduation, I became a public health nurse in rural Washington State. You know, I was often overwhelmed by the challenges of the families that I served. Poverty, abuse, teenage pregnancies, chronic disease, limited education, mental health challenges, drugs, day after day. But I also gained a clear sense of my purpose as a nurse and as an individual who had the capacity and the opportunity to contribute to the health of people. My role as a public health nurse was full of many experiences, strengthening my commitment to public health. I visited families and schools in the morning and worked in the sexually transmitted disease clinic in the afternoon, and in the evening I volunteered at Planned Parenthood. One of my roles as a school nurse was to teach high school students sex education. Now, my boss, the health officer for the health department I was working at, believed that sex education was the pathway to success, and I was the deliverer of that vision. So please imagine a room full of teenage boys and a very young public health nurse working through sex education. I was always afraid a parent would object to what I was doing. And one day, after teaching my class, I was late for another visit, so I quickly bundled up all of my sex education handouts and diagrams, put them on the roof of my car while I loaded my other supplies into the back seat, got in the car, drove quickly out of the school parking lot. I happened to look behind me out of the rear view mirror, and there were all of these sex education papers blowing off the roof of my car. I just kept right on going. Never did hear from a parent. I have so many stories like this, a job well loved, making a difference in families, learning lessons every day, going back to school for more and more education, learning to manage, learning to lead, learning through more effort than I thought I had, and digging deep for compassion and empathy that keeps us and our patients, families, and communities going. We know that a patient stays a patient until we see them as a person, that communities need information, guidance, and policy solutions based on research. A family in crisis, they need someone to listen before acting. My life has been full of opportunity and the ability to choose a way forward. The best two choices I made was to become a nurse and to marry the love of my life at 41. He was worth waiting for. Choosing well in all things and knowing when it's time to move on is part of living. And living well has given me the opportunity and power to serve others. If that is a hallmark of a legend, then it has been a joyful journey to this special honor. My deepest thanks to the Academy for your belief in me.
Our third living legend to be recognized this evening is Kathleen Kitty Cohen Buckwalter. Dr. Buckwalter is highly acclaimed for her work in the development of the geropsychiatric nursing subspecialty, as well as her research and health policy efforts in the field. Notably, she was among the first cohort of nurses to receive a geriatric mental health academic award from the National Institute of Mental Health in 1983. Dr. Buckwalter's groundbreaking research focused on building a vast portfolio of evidence in the care of the aging adult. Specifically, her federally and privately funded research contributed to developing and testing conceptual and rural mental health outreach models of care, evaluating non-pharmacological and environmental interventions for persons with dementia and their caregivers in a variety of care settings, and developing research capacity in gerontological nursing and training programs for long-term care facility staff. One of her most notable efforts resulted in the award-winning Geriatric Mental Health Training Series developed with Dr. Marianne Smith that enabled long-term care staff to provide higher quality, less restrictive, and more humane care to residents. In her specialty area of geropsychiatric nursing, Dr. Buckwalter collaborated with Drs. Lois Evan and Cornelia Beck to form the continually influential National Geropsychiatric Nursing Collaborative. The collaborative has advanced the field of geropsychiatric nursing and developed the next generation of geropsychiatric nurse leaders to enhance the visibility of this subspecialty, foster geropsychiatric nursing education and research, and promote careers in the field. A significant portion of Dr. Buckwalter's career has been devoted to her seminal contribution to supporting individuals with dementia. Along with Dr. Jerry Hall, they developed the progressively lowered stress threshold conceptual model for the care of individuals with dementia and their formal and informal caregivers. This model has been implemented and evaluated nationally and internationally for over 33 years. Additionally, with the Alzheimer's Association support, she co-led an international interdisciplinary team evaluating non-pharmacological interventions in dementia. More recently in her career as co-director of the National Health Law and Policy Resource Center, Dr. Buckwalter helped to revise archaic guardianship laws, especially those that adversely affect chronically mentally ill and cognitively impaired older adults. Her national level activities include the Elder Justice Roadmap, Mental Health Workforce on Aging Populations, and the National Alzheimer's Plan. Among her many awards and achievements, Dr. Buckwalter is also known for her dedication to mentoring the next generation of nurse scientists. The Gerontological Society of America recognized this work by providing her the Distinguished Mentorship in Gerontology Award. With my own focus on the older adult population, I know firsthand how Kitty has led the way in creating vast improvements in the care of our aging population. She is a reminder to us all that perseverance, mentorship, and a commitment to the population we are dedicated to serve creates not only change to the way we provide care, but the policies that guide them. And now let's hear from Kitty's three sponsors.
I'm Keela Herr. I'm Kelting Professor in Nursing and Associate Dean for Faculty at the University of Iowa College of Nursing. I chose this opportunity to nominate Kitty as a living legend because of my witness to her long career and the contributions that she has made and the manner in which she's made them that so deserve this recognition. Kitty's an extraordinary role model and exemplar in nursing leadership because of her passion and her unwavering commitment to address a significant societal challenge and improve the care of older adults, particularly those with mental health challenges. Kitty is a remarkably talented nurse scientist, outstanding educator and mentor, and compassionate advocate and used those talents to impact policy that changed care approaches and improved outcomes for older adults. She mastered every role of nursing leadership and is truly appreciated and recognized in and outside of nursing as one of the strongest advocates for the care of older adults and those with mental and cognitive challenges in particular. She has had an exceptional career and is still going strong.
Well, first of all, it's a privilege for me to sponsor Kitty for recognition as a living legend. I'm a bit biased because I'm a gerontologic nurse, but in my mind, Kitty has done more than any other single person to advance the recognition that gerontologic nursing and geropsych nursing needed to be part of the nursing curriculum.
I'm Ada J. Cox, and I sponsored Kitty for this great honor because of her enormous contributions. I've had a lot of students who have done well, but Kitty stands right at the top. Kitty's major accomplishments for nursing has been her leadership roles in interdisciplinary areas. I nominated her for membership in the National Academy of Sciences because of her enormous talent in policy as well as research in gerontological nursing. And she, again, has just had several outstanding roles there. Whatever arena she is in, she performs magnificently.
Well, I'd have to say her breadth and depth of knowledge, particularly in the areas of gerontologic and geropsychiatric nursing. And secondarily, she has a boundless energy. She never quits.
Kitty always has successfully blended a career in research with a commitment to her family and music. I'll give you two examples. She defended her thesis, her master's thesis, one week and did a violin recital the next. Second, when she was a student at University of Iowa, Illinois, in their doctoral program, she had to commute each week from Iowa City to Chicago. And toward the end, she was taking planes in, and she was pregnant with, I think, their third child. And they wouldn't allow women in their third trimesters to fly on the plane at that time. So Kitty got a great big overcoat and wore that to and from Chicago. And she, again, successfully completed her PhD program and had the baby, both on time.
She is tireless in helping others achieve their goals and guiding them to career success, and to have impact in advancing nursing and healthcare in their individual areas of interest and expertise. Kitty's impact on nursing and healthcare is far beyond her own work, and her contributions have been many, sustained, and extraordinary, and she deserves to be recognized as a leader among leaders.
I think if you ask 10 people in the nursing profession if Kitty was a living legend, they'd say yes.
Kitty should be a living legend because of her prodigious scholarship, her strong interdisciplinary leadership, and most importantly, for being an activist for the rights of elders and the mentally ill.
Thank you to the American Academy of Nursing for this incredible honor, and most especially to my family, friends, mentors, and colleagues at Iowa, Oklahoma, and elsewhere who have fostered my journey as a nurse. Special thanks to those who supported my nomination. Keela Herr, colleague, administrator, and remarkable pain researcher. Ada J. Cox, advisor, mentor during my master's program, who showed me the value of nursing research and guided me to doctoral study at the University of Illinois. Meridine Moss, longtime friend and colleague with whom I've had so many rewarding academic adventures. Colleen Good, an outstanding leader at University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics, when I was Associate Director of Nursing Research there, and my dear friend May Weichel, with whom I was among the first cohort of nurses to be awarded a Geriatric Mental Health Academic Award at NIMH. Although I started college as a music major, it's no surprise that I became a nurse, one of 7 family members to graduate with a nursing degree from the University of Iowa, since my great aunt Geneva did so in 1925. A poster that once graced my office door declared, "It's a beautiful thing when a career and passion come together." And so it is. My career began as a Navy nurse during the Vietnam War and reached its peak collaborating with the wonderful Sandy Bergner, examining stigma in dementia. I also had the great privilege to partner with 2 of the most talented, smart, and dedicated geropsychiatric nurse colleagues one could ever wish for in Cornelia Beck and Lois Evans, to develop the Hartford-funded Geropsychiatric Nursing Collaborative, and to watch with great satisfaction as current leaders in the subspecialty have emerged who continue to move the field forward. There have been, of course, a few disappointments along the way. I remember the time my then almost 2-year-old son crumbled a box of graham crackers into the carriage of the IBM Selectric on which I was typing my dissertation 2 days before the deposit deadline, forcing postponement of my graduation. But mostly it's been a series of incredible blessings. I've had the privilege of working with so many extraordinary colleagues and friends, remarkable students, scholars, and fellows. How I wish I could pay tribute to you all, but there are simply too many to name in too short a time frame. However, I must acknowledge Dr. Jerry Hall, master clinician and educator, whose astute clinical observations led to development of the PLST model. I am the beneficiary of the kindness of many nurse colleagues, ranging from those who have inspired me, like Angela McBride and Irene Burnside, and those who have nudged me, like Mary Stark Harper, those who have served as role models of courage and service, like Rita Chow, and the many people in nursing and other disciplines who have created professional opportunities and who have made me believe I could do better than I ever thought possible. Along the way, I've received good advice from wise nurses like Dean Jerry Felton, who, at a time when I found so many aspects of nursing fascinating, told me I needed to get a focus. And also from Carlene Kerfoot, my first psychiatric nursing instructor and Greyhound bus buddy, who advised, when I expressed reservations about taking an administrative post, just to think of it like group therapy. I am grateful for the excellent education I received that allowed me to take advantage of unanticipated opportunities, having always subscribed to Pasteur's belief that chance favors only the prepared mind. Finally, I'm indebted to my parents, who fostered my love of learning and who made sure I had opportunities that they did not. And I would not be here today without the love, support, understanding, and patience of my husband, Jody, and children, Andrea, Abigail, and Jody. Thank you again for this tremendous honor, along with the distinguished cohort of inductees for 2020. Nurses are not only at the forefront of advancing science and policy, but are on the front line, providing compassionate care. I am proud to be a nurse, and this recognition is one of the proudest moments of all.
The 4th living legend to be honored this evening is Beverly Malone. Dr. Malone's name is recognized around the globe for her steadfast commitment and progress to advance the quality of nursing education and ensure the nursing workforce is prepared for the ever-changing healthcare environment. As CEO for the National League for Nursing for 13 years, Dr. Malone's leadership has directed significant transformation in the science of nursing education by promoting greater collaboration among stakeholders, increasing diversity in nursing and nursing education, and advancing excellence in care for patients. At the helm of the organization, Dr. Malone is frequently called on by congressional leaders and policymakers to offer her expert perspective through public testimony on increasing support for nursing education and workforce development to address the persistent shortage of nurses, which threatens healthcare delivery across the United States, from inner cities to suburbs to rural communities. Her career has always focused on bringing the voice of the profession to national and international policy-making tables. Dr. Malone was the Federal Deputy Assistant Secretary for Health within the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services under former President Bill Clinton. In addition to this role, Dr. Malone was a member of President Clinton's Advisory Commission on Consumer Protection and Quality in the Healthcare Industry. Additionally, at the global level, Dr. Malone served as General Secretary of the Royal College of Nursing, which, with a membership of 400,000 nurses, is the United Kingdom's largest professional union of nurses. She leveraged her experience and influence in that position to serve as a member of the UK delegation to the World Health Assembly, the Commonwealth Nurses Federation, and the Higher Education Funding Council for England. During that time, Dr. Malone was also vice chair of the Brussels-based European Federation of Nurses Association. Dr. Malone has held a number of clinical, administrative, education, and policy roles throughout her career. She is widely recognized by her peers in nursing, the health community, and stakeholders as a leader and accomplished innovator, having been ranked among the 100 most influential people in healthcare by Modern Healthcare magazine, which also honored her on the biennial list of top 25 women in healthcare, and in 2020 named her to the inaugural list of 5 minority healthcare luminaries. Dr. Malone served as a champion for the profession as the president of the American Nurses Association, representing 180,000 nurses in the U.S. for 2 elected terms. She has consistently shared her vision for a healthcare environment where nursing leads. Throughout her almost innumerable accomplishments, Dr. Malone has inspired a generation to come together as colleagues, embrace diversity, and join together for the common goal. Dr. Beverly Malone's sponsors have more to add.
Dr. Beverly Malone makes an extraordinary living legend and role model for nursing because of her style, her professionalism, her interest in nurses and others in healthcare, just the way that she carries herself and carries out her functions, her responsibilities in most of the time very complex, difficult organizations. So just that example is an example for myself, has been an example for me for years, and is an example for many others in nursing and in other healthcare professions.
She's been the example for many of us in a lot of respects, whether it be seeking leadership positions, pursuing higher education and getting those terminal degrees, but more importantly, it's that humanity about who Beverly really is. She taught me as a leader, you can deal with difficult situations, but leave people intact. Know how to handle difficult situations, but yet and still care for the team that you are responsible for. I am so grateful for all the things I've learned from her, but more importantly, how to carry myself as a leader, how to conduct myself as a professional nurse.
Beverly Malone inspired me to think outside the box. And one of the ways she did that was when she stepped out and became the first American to be the chief executive officer of the Royal College of Nursing in the United Kingdom. What? That was unheard of. And watching her, knowing what she did and accomplished during that tenure, inspired me to say, hey, I may not be the president of the United States, but I may be able to become the president of AARP, which I did, in stepping out into another uncharted area for me, as I had seen her done, into becoming a board member of AARP and later its national volunteer president. Thank you, Beverly, for stepping out.
One thing that I can say about Dr. Malone is that she never misses an opportunity to mentor those of us who are coming behind her. In many cases, she has been the driving force to have nurses serve in senior positions, such as the presidents of associations and organizations, to serve on boards. She's also inspired many of us to seek those C-suite, as she calls it, opportunities. She has a phrase that she uses it often in meetings with not only her mentees, but in her public presentations. And she says that if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And those of us who know Beverly well, she has no desire to be on anyone's menu.
And I am incredibly proud to nominate Dr. Beverly Malone for this honor. And one of the many reasons for this is because of the influence she's had on my professional life, as well as the influence that she has had on the profession of nursing and healthcare in general. Huge contributions. Her example can be matched by few in nursing and healthcare with respect to how she's able to manage complex organizations, situations, individuals, mentor a number of individuals, and be the leader that nursing and healthcare truly needs.
I firmly believe that Dr. Malone has advanced the profession of nursing and healthcare in what roles and positions she's held throughout her professional life. As Dean and Vice Chancellor at North Carolina A&T, she did a phenomenal job in getting those students to perform at such a high level in the state of North Carolina. As the president of ANA, one of the things that Dr. Malone did that had not happened before was to make sure, and I remember vividly, she called it that ANA was the house that had the room for everyone. She embraced diversity, she embraced inclusivity long before those became buzzwords in healthcare and in nursing profession. She has been truly, truly an inspiration and a trailblazer in making sure that nursing and human caring was foremost in what she has done.
Yay!
She'll kill us.
Come on, guys. Come on. We got to get it in there. Come on, Alicia, Mary. She'll know what that is.
She'll know. She'll kill us. She'll kill us after, but she'll get it.
Well, I have to admit that I didn't want to be a leader when I was early in my career. I had no desire to be a leader. But I got to my master's program, and Dr. Hildegard Peplau, I remember the first time I met her, and she said, if you don't want to be a leader, you can leave. And right then and there, I decided I was going to be a leader. And leader includes advocacy. So it was just a natural kind of movement that I, as a psychiatric mental health nurse extraordinaire, I was going to be a leader, and I was going to advocate for the people that I served, the people of my community, the people that I will take care of in the future, and that it had to be more than just me, that I could advocate through others. That was the magic of the whole thing, of how do we scale it up. And the way you scale it up is you work through others. I have been so fortunate to have a huge number of mentors from the time that I was very young. All throughout my life, people have volunteered and helped me and mentored me so much that my doctoral dissertation was on mentoring. So I have had, and I tell everyone, one mentor won't do. You need to sort of do a self-assessment of yourself and your goals, what you want to do, where you want to go, who you want to be. And then you say, well, I want to go and do something international. I need an international mentor. Well, when I look at myself, guess what? I'm an African-American woman. Oh, I need an African-American mentor. I'm a psychiatric mental health nurse. I need a psychiatric mental health mentor. I'm a clinical psychologist. What do you say? I need a clinical psychologist mentor. And not only do I need those because that's who I am, but it's also about that's who I want to become. And so when I think about others, colleagues who are out there trying to figure out which way to go, I always say, go in. It doesn't matter the direction you go. Just make sure that particular goal has a mentor attached to it. And that my job, my responsibility is not to wait until I get somewhere to turn around and start mentoring. My job is to mentor all along the journey. And so when I was very young, I was mentoring. As I grew in my career, I mentored. Every step of the way, I was mentoring. I had a responsibility to. People have been so wonderfully good and giving to me that I know what good mentoring is about. And I know it's in short supply. So I have to mentor all along my journey. Nursing is the core of my very soul. It is the part that says I'm a healer. Because no matter where I would be a nurse. I would be a healer. I would be caring for others. What an honor, what a privilege to be a nurse. I can't think of anything better. When you look at your life and you sort of throw the fishing rod out there and you say, I could go this direction, I could go that direction. I chose nursing. And I have to say, colleagues, that it was a divine inspiration that helped me choose this wonderful profession that started with me looking up at my great-grandmother, understanding how tall and beautiful and wonderful she was, and that I wanted to be so much like her, and that she was a nursing person, that she understood the healing profession. And then to help others understand what a great profession nursing is, I want to extend a special thank you to my sponsors. You took the time to write out the application. I'm sure it was an extensive one. You took the time to even think about me. And I am so very, very appreciative. And I also want to thank the American Academy of Nursing. Wow. Living legend, it's amazing. And I have to say that I really like the piece that says living. You know how it is to work with others. You know what a wonderful thing it is to be with your colleagues and not to be above your colleagues. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, and blessings to all of you.
Our fifth living legend to be recognized tonight is Dr. Marilyn Rantz. Celebrating a significant milestone this year, Dr. Rantz has been a registered nurse for 50 years. Over the course of 5 decades serving the public, she has become the premier national and international expert in quality measurement in nursing homes and research programs that improve the quality of care of older adults. Her work in gerontology has been at the forefront of paradigm shifts, particularly related to measuring nursing home quality to prompt improvement, developing and testing engineering technologies, innovating new technologies that help seniors live independently and safely, initiating legislation that set the stage for nurses practicing to the full extent of their education and training and nursing practice, and gaining fair reimbursement for nursing services. This body of pioneering work on behalf of a vulnerable population is a historic and an enduring contribution to the nursing profession and the society it serves. Her efforts have been funded by Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the National Institutes of Health, and the state of Missouri, totaling more than $87 million in grant funding. The enormity of her impact on the older adult population and their quality of life resulted in becoming an elected member of the National Academy of Medicine in 2012. Since 1992, Dr. Rantz has been affiliated with the Sinclair School of Nursing at the University of Missouri, where she has held several positions, including University Hospital Professor of Nursing, joint appointment in the Department of Family and Community Medicine in the School of Medicine, and Helene E. Nam Chair in the School of Nursing. In 2010, she was awarded the prestigious Curator's Professor title to acknowledge her contributions to the university. Dr. Rantz champions innovation, and her models have been recognized by the Academy through the Edge Runner designation. In 2008 for the Aging in Place and Tiger Place model, and again in 2012 for the statewide Quality Improvement Program for Missouri. In particular, Dr. Rantz was ahead of her time when she engineered and implemented Tiger Place, a senior living arrangement that showed home-friendly technologies can alert family and providers to changes in vital signs and activities of daily living among older adults living alone, greatly enhancing independence. Dr. Rantz is a trailblazer in gerontological nursing, and for individuals like myself, we have looked to her work to inspire our own. She is known in the community as a passionate and persistent leader who brings the unique needs of the aging population to national and international discussions. Her contributions have been recognized through the National Gerontological Nursing Association's Lifetime Achievement Award as a Fellow in the Gerontological Society of America, the Gerontological Society of America's Doris Schwartz Research Award, and the March of Dimes Legend in Nursing Award. She is a legend, and we are delighted to hear more about her impact and career from Marilyn's sponsors.
I've known Marilyn since the early 2000s. We met a mutual colleague of ours, Dr. Mary Dean Moss, who is also a living legend. Over time, I've gotten to know Marilyn for a number of reasons. The work that she has done with pre- and postdoc scholars that were funded by the Hartford Foundation, and her wonderful work reaching out, improving quality of care and long-term care. And I've gotten to know her especially for her heart and her passion. And she is one of the most determined, focused individuals I've ever met. And every time I've had discussions with her, or we have done some work together, all of that passion and heart comes through for older adults and their families.
Marilyn is characterized by being incredibly determined and passionate. She never, ever takes no for an answer. And one thing to know about her, too, is she has an absolutely wicked sense of humor. And her laugh can make anybody around her laugh. So it's this wonderful blend that Marilyn brings to all the work that she does. She has touched every aspect of care for older adults, for individuals who are in nursing homes and the nurses who care for them. From introducing nurse practitioners into nursing homes, and also working towards practice guidelines that would allow nurse practitioners to practice at full scope, as well as receive equitable reimbursement, critical issues for advancing nursing and nursing practice.
Marilyn is a role model exemplar. It is part of who she is. She has the core values, her essence, and certainly her work reflects everything that nursing hopes and aspires to be. She has provided solutions grounded in evidence to one of the most pressing challenges of our time and for the foreseeable future. How is it that we are, as societies, going to provide people who live to ripe old ages but become frail in that process with the quality of living and life that they deserve? She has created a sense for nurses that this is a tall order, but that you can do it. She has created and positioned the next generation of interdisciplinary scholars to really build on her work and the work of those before her. In many ways, the living legend is a recognition, obviously, of this total package, of this amazing person, the work that she does, and the people that she has informed and influenced. But it's also a way for us to say thank you to Marilyn for all that you have done for all of us and for generations to come.
I am thrilled that, Marilyn, you are now a living legend. We are so proud of you, and I am so proud to say I know Marilyn Rantz.
Marilyn Rantz is a living legend. Her impact is felt in the care of older adults by every individual in this country. Her impact is continuous for 40 years. It's deep, it's profound. As we have shared in our stories, she has touched and improved the care of the most vulnerable of the people in our country. And she has done it in ways that will not go back. And I think that's a critical hallmark of a living legend, is that their imprint touches so much into perpetuity. We owe older adults quality of life and the very best we have to offer. Marilyn deserves being a living legend because she understands that to the bottom of her toes, and there couldn't be any greater thrill than to nominate you and have you selected as a living legend, Marilyn. Congratulations. This is so well deserved.
I want to take this opportunity to thank my sponsors, Mary and Claudia and Jerry. It's a true honor to be nominated and sponsored by you. I've admired all of your careers, and to count you in as my friends, and now to have you sponsor me for this honor, I truly am grateful to you. Thank you so much. And I want to thank the Academy too. The Academy's been a big part of my life. I've made so many professional and personal friends over the years, going to meetings, connecting with people before and after meetings. Those connections are critical to advancing the ideals of the Academy, as well as the ideals of what I see need to be done for older adults in America. So I want to thank the Academy. Thank you for all you've done, and thank my sponsors. As I reflect on my early career, there were several key people who played a role there, one of which was a patient when I worked at the VA. And I was working in an intensive care unit in medical ICU, taking care of an older gentleman. And I was also doing a BSN completion program. And I remember thinking, I don't really know if I'm getting anything out of this BSN completion program. I think I'm a really pretty good nurse already. But that night, when I cared for him, my scope of practice changed. I went from a narrow scope to a broadened scope of practice. It was like miraculous. And suddenly I was caring for this older man who had all of these needs and all of these problems that we were going to have to help him solve and set up for him to be appropriately discharged to home and to be able to stay at home and to get the care that he needed. That change in the scope made all the difference and set the stage in many ways for my commitment to making things work better for older adults. As you look to the future, I think nurses have we're in a fabulous position. We're number one in respect and honesty and trust from the public. We need to capitalize on that and advance several issues that need to advance. What I see most critically is the need for advancement of advanced practice nurses to have full practice responsibilities and capabilities and access so that everyone in the country can access an advanced practice nurse, including those people who live in nursing homes. And right now there are regulations that stand in the way of that. And we need pressure to come to bear to remove those stumbling blocks so that every nursing home has an advanced practice nurse working in it. I've seen the outcomes of that. I just finished an 8-year study of advanced practice nurses working every day, full-time in nursing homes. It makes a huge difference. In this year's time, during COVID, it was critical. Those nurses were the best qualified people to help that staff and help those residents get through this crisis in Missouri. We're not quite through. I've had to watch a lot of people die. That's hard. It is time that we remove every restriction on advanced practice nurses and get them into nursing homes. If that is the one thing that I feel so strongly about, and the one action that I believe can really shift the quality of care in nursing homes. Yes, we also need better staffing ratios. Yes, we need a lot of other things and person-centered care. But we also need the critical domino to fall. And that critical domino is advanced practice nurses. That has to happen. As I look to other things in the future, I think technology has got tremendous possibilities to help us and help older people age in place. I think and minimize the functional decline late in life so that one can be functionally active, enjoy their life through the end of life, and have a peaceful death. That's my vision for the future, that people will be able to stay functionally active. And I think technology holds the key there as well. And of course, in my best world, let's combine technology and advanced practice nurses. That'll do it. I can't think of a better outcome for the future than to have people more functionally active, happy, engaged in life through the end of life. I have to tell you that the Living Legend honor is probably the most coveted honor in nursing. And it means so much to me personally to have been selected, supported by such strong people and strong women who are nurses. I find it overwhelming and positive, and I am humbled by it. It has meant so much to me to be recognized by my peers in the academy, to be honored in this way, and to also be able to bring honor to a strong career in gerontological nursing. You know, many years ago, those of us who were in gerontological nursing that wasn't the coveted thing to focus on. But believe me, I think it's exactly why God put me on this earth. And I am so honored to be honored and to have the work with older adults honored in this way.
Please help us toast and celebrate our newest American Academy of Nursing Living Legends. Thank you for joining us tonight to celebrate. Cheers. Cheers.